Strobe Studios presents Michael Helgens and Greg Kilberger in The Watson Files. Coming to you from the illustrious Strobe Studios in the heart of America, this is Scott Strosahl. And now, let's join the doctor and see what story he has for us today.
Come in.
Dr. Watson, how are you on this fine evening?
It is a lovely evening, isn't it?
Is that whale songs?
Got it in one, my boy. Come and sit down over here. I've just laid out some snacks that I think you'll enjoy.
Ah, it's right. I recall you mentioning something about a whale of a tale, but I didn't think you meant it literally.
As it turns out, I did. Here, try this caviar. It's heavenly.
No thank you. I'm not really into that stuff.
Suit yourself, more for me.
So, what do whale songs have to do with tonight's story?
Well, I had convinced Holmes that he needed to take a little vacation, and he asked me to choose the destination. I booked us a room at Harker's Landing because I felt a little sea air might do Holmes some good. We had just arrived at a charming little bed and breakfast when things started to go downhill rather rapidly.
Watson, are you sure this is the right place?
Of course it is.
I don't think they're coming, Watson.
Oh, give it time. It's not like they have a butler at every door.
Maybe they've gone. We could always check into an actual hotel.
Nonsense, Holmes. We won't get the whole effect if we stay at one of those touristy places. Besides, I read online that you can sometimes see whales from the spacious balcony of the room that I've gotten for us.
Room?
Yes. We are capable of sharing, aren't we?
Perhaps, but you generally insist on having your own space.
Also, I figured if we stayed somewhere out of the way, we might avoid running into a case by mistake.
I thought you liked it when we were randomly made party to murder. Ah, you must be the proprietor.
Sorry about the wait, gentlemen. Welcome to the Butler House.
Well, hello, ma'am. I'm Jack. We have a reservation under Watson.
You're not really him, are you?
Him?
The Dr. Jack Watson? The one who works with Spencer Holmes?
Well, yes, but
Oh, that must mean you are Spencer Holmes.
No, not really. My name is Hugh. I'm an old friend of Dr. Watson's. He does know the great detective, though.
My goodness, I'm sorry. I guess I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. What a treat it would be to have Spencer Holmes sign our guest book.
Indeed.
If we could just get our keys and...
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Watson. I didn't mean to offend you. It's nice to have you here, too. Maybe you can tell me one of your stories before you go. That would be a real treat.
Perhaps, if there is time. We've got a pretty booked schedule.
Oh, of course. I understand.
Oh, come now, Watson. I'm sure you can spare a little time for a charming creature such as this. I'll be all right on my own for a while. In fact, I'll take these and our bags up to the room. Why don't the two of you get acquainted?
You're our only guest for the night, and I was planning to head out to the market after you got checked in. But if you have a little time, I'd love to buy you a drink.
Why, thank you, ma'am. I suppose I am a little thirsty. You sure you'll be all right on your own, Hugh?
I'm sure I'll manage. Now, you kids run along and have a good time.
Holmes, you're in trouble. I didn't even know that a girl could... Hey, you're not him.
No, but Mr. Holmes suggested you might return while he was away.
Where did he go?
He went to fetch some things from my apartment. He didn't think I should go out alone.
But you're alone here, aren't you?
Well, I was, but now you're here and I feel a little better.
Ah, Watson, you've finally decided to put it in appearance.
What's going on here?
I'm afraid I ran into a speck of trouble while you were out.
Of course you did. I think I might have a little trouble of my own.
Yes, of course. Just lie down. I'll explain everything in the morning.
That sounds like a really good, really...
Now, Mr. Vandergrift, we shall see if my suspicions are correct.
Oh, my head. Make it stop.
Watson, it is vital to the case.
Case?
Yes, thank goodness you chose this establishment, Watson. If you had not, I fear that I would not have encountered Mr. Vandergrift at the pub next door.
All right, I need you to slow down a little.
Yes, I suppose you might need a bit more explanation.
You're not going to let me sleep anymore, are you?
Not at all.
All right. I'm up. Please proceed.
That's the spirit, Watson. After you and the innkeeper's wife went out last night, I decided...
Wait a minute.
What is it?
What do you mean, the innkeeper's wife?
Is there something about that particular arrangement of words that makes them difficult for you to understand, Watson? What exactly were you drinking last night?
Never mind. I'm sure everything will be fine. Innkeepers, wives.
Yes, it's on the cards at the front desk, but wait, Watson, you didn't...
Just tell me the rest so I can crawl back under the covers and die.
I'd prefer if you didn't.
Didn't what?
Die.
That may be the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
You're welcome. Now, as I was saying, after you went out, I decided that it was too fair an evening to waste alone in a strange inn, so I lit out to find some adventure of my own.
And were you successful?
Very much so. I ventured out, but only to the pub next door, not wanting to wander off too far in case you should return looking for me. The pub afforded me a good view of the premises, and I was content to imbibe some of the locally concocted cordials.
And you stumbled into a mystery.
Who's telling the story here, Watson?
Is there a point somewhere in all of this?
I am very nearly to the crux of the matter, Watson, if you'll indulge me a little while longer.
Fine.
Oh, wait, here comes a particularly interesting part. You've just about got it, Watson.
What's that?
The answer to this particular problem. But we're not there yet. First, you must know the measure of the thing.
Holmes, I swear by all that is holy,
What?
Just tell the story already.
I've been trying to do just that, but you keep interrupting me.
All right, fine. What happened next?
The man, who looked quite well-to-do, asked if he could share my table. Some of those local cordials I mentioned had me feeling congenial, so I consented. The man turned out to be Mr. Vandergrift. Do you recall meeting him last night upon your return?
Now that you mention it, I do seem to remember that someone other than you was here when I got back. Where is he now?
Out testing a theory for me. If I'm right, we can still manage one or two of those touristy jaunts before the day is out.
So, what was his problem?
Well, it turned out that he hadn't asked to join me on a whim, but rather had recognized me from a photo he saw in the paper and some tales he listened to on the internet on a certain overly dramatic doctor's website.
Always nice to know people are listening.
Yes, but here I mention such things to point out, before we get to the next bit, that this is all your fault.
Of course it is.
Good. It's best if you accept the blame now so there isn't any confusion later.
Sure.
Anyway, Mr. Vandergrift recently joined the Harker's Landing Whale Preservation Society.
Hence the whale song?
We may make a detective out of you yet, Watson.
I'm tingling with anticipation.
Good. Anyway, Mr. Vandergrift went on to explain that upon joining the society, he attended several of their meetings and charitable events, and everything seemed normal, until he was approached one evening, while taking a constitutional on the beach, by a whale.
A whale just walked up to him.
No, of course not, Watson. Well, I mean, yes, but not like you're thinking.
You really are making my head hurt worse.
Not my intention, I assure you.
I'm not sure that I believe you.
What I mean to say, Watson, is that a man in a whale suit approached Mr. Vandergrift.
Of course. Did he ask him to run away into the sea with him?
Don't be preposterous, Watson. The whale told Mr. Vandergrift that he knew of his connection to the society, gave him a portable music player and a paper bag, and told him where to deliver the device, with dire warnings that the lives of many whales were dependent on his compliance.
Oh, everything makes sense now.
Good. So you understand the level of good fortune in my meeting of Mr. Vandergrift when I did.
Holmes, my head hurts, and the sun isn't even all the way up yet. What are you getting at?
I believe, Watson, that the whales are about to attack.
The whales are about to attack? He really said that?
Of course he did. This is Spencer that we're talking about.
I still want to know what happened with you and the innkeeper's wife.
You're not more interested in killer whales?
I suppose I could be persuaded to hear the rest of the tale.
Good, because that's where we're going with this story. But right now we're out of time, so you're going to have to wait until next week.
Really?
I'm afraid so, but next week I'll be sure to finish the tale.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Tonight's Watson Files adventure was written by Michael Helgens and directed by Scott Strosahl. Spencer Holmes and Dr. Watson were played by Michael Helgens and Greg Kilberger. Additional voices were provided by Steve Rimpici and Kasey Strosahl. Until next week, this is Scott Strosahl saying good night from Stroby Studios.
Come in. I didn't like that at all. We're doing that one again. Come in. No, that was no good at all. One more time. Come in. That's better.
That was definitely the one. It was really great.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
It's a good thing we got it right.
That time it was just terrible. Not one of the other 62 times, which Scott will now grab and use instead of that one.
I'm sure.
Oh, I forgot to hit record. No,
Hilarious.
Dr. Watson, how are you this lovely evening?
Is Scott drunk today? Dr. Watson!
Oh, I'm just excited. It's a lovely evening. I never say lovely. I don't know. It sounds strange. Dr. Watson, how are you this lovely evening?
They are lovely, aren't they?
What?
I don't...
That's my line.
It is your line. I don't know what that is.
Suit yourself, more for me. Nosh, nosh, nosh,
Crunch, 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 fishy, fishy, fishy.
Delicious, delicious, delicious. Chew, swallow, gulp.
There we go. That's the sound effects.
Please use that at the end of the episode. Don't fail.
The Jack Watson? The one who works with Spencer Holmes?
Well, yes, but
Oh, that must mean you are Spencer Holmes. We don't need a woman.
Scott can just do it.
oh, I'm
That's how they did it in Shakespeare's days.